Hello and welcome to another Lord of the Rings Rise to War live stream. Very rare that I do these, to be fair, but I thought today I'll probably give a little one a go. Probably got about an hour, I reckon, before I turn it off. I'm just gonna throw a couple of advertisements out into different places, so bear with me, chill out a minute. Not really much happening at this stage anyway, if I'm being brutally honest. The plan today is to, depending on who comes on, go through a season update, generally quite live. We're going to show some PvP from Khineland, and from there, I'm kind of just hoping that we'll sort of go with the flow, really. But let me just throw the stream key around some places. Hang on. I have been fighting a bit today. I am going to try and talk and do this at the same time because that's not something that I'm very good at. But we shall see. But in the meantime, sorry people, I can't do two things at once. I'm really, really bad at it. I will throw it into a number of chats. 2 minutes. And I think, on that note, I'll just post in World Chat that we're now live, see what people want to do, and hopefully I don't get trolled too much. And hopefully, once I'm finally set up doing this properly, we can work it out. So, I'm going to go back to closing down this chapter there. That was a fight with Jimmy that I'll show you shortly. And hopefully, if I now press here, I'll be able to see if anyone talks to me. There we go. Okay, so, finally, apologies for that. Welcome to the live stream. Ah, Mr. Law. Hello, how are you? Apologies. You know live streams aren't my thing, so I didn't really advertise it very well. I basically just turned it on because that's the sort of key to my... that's kind of the key to my sort of thing, really, not being great at tech. So it looks like it's working. Apparently you can hear me because Law's just said hello. So I'm just going to run through some sort of changes, and then I'm going to go into relocates, and then Law's going to carry on being sarcastic by the looks of things, because that's going to be one of the things that he does. And then I'm probably going to talk about half trolls, so he leaves for 10 minutes. And then from there, I'm going to show some PvP in Khineland, because I'm just reinforcing. And I don't really want to detract from the Udes and Aces server, but at the moment, there's no sort of thing really happening on that. Hey, Jimmy. So I'm just kind of here chilling out. I want to kind of go into relocation rules and kind of talk about how everyone feels about it. And then, hello, Uno. And then we kind of spoke about it yesterday briefly, but I am, and I tongue-in-cheek said if I ever quit the game, I'd release it. I am going to work on a farming guide for 2.5 or 2.0, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah. To be fair, I've started to doubt them slightly. But I'm doubting even Rams against Guardians currently. Sadly, no free booze here. So I'm losing my train of thought here. So I am going to do a farming video. So I kind of want to get people's opinion on what they want to see. Because as far as I was thinking, I was going to go through sort of a series of videos that was going to be what to look for if you're using 2 commanders, what to look for if you're going to use 3 commanders, what to look for If you're using 4 commanders, what to look for in supports, what to look for in your damage dealers, what skills to look out for, kind of to make it generalized, so it wasn't just, hi, please use a Nazgul, hi, please use Dane and Gandalf the White, and that's it. So you can kind of work through a few things. Gregor, no problem at all for sorting out your account. I always like sorting out people's account. If anyone wants any help, let me know. I wouldn't necessarily thank me just yet though until you fought something and it works better, if that's a bit of a deal. So anyway, I'm just going to start though with the whole let's go for the season, because a lot's changed in the last 2 days, to be fair. So the map is now slightly different. I'll talk through the kingdoms first. So we have Lothlorien, which is Otter, Odin, and Wind. And they are allied with the Erebor Kingdom, which is DK. We are Mordor, which is Honk Dong. Didn't think I'd ever say Dong on a live, if I'm being honest. And of course, Toby. And then we have Gondor, which is Animal and Salt in the predominant, apart from this lovely little fellowship here called BZKH, which are kind of doing everything that Gondor aren't. And they're helping Erebor to a degree, so we believe. There is a big old team here of bears who are on their own to a degree, as the Goll are in there as well, but for 100 bears, they are taking down a serious amount of people knocking around the map, as you can see by these pins. Then we've got Angmar that seem to be fighting Linden. And Gondor have made their way over here to also fight Linden. So there's a lot going on, and then Rohan have somehow found himself in this bottom corner. Don't necessarily know how they found their way down here, but there you go. So that's where they are. That's kind of the map. Just to talk through some pretty heavy changes in the last 24 hours. So the main fighting has been around Khineland, which is where... I get it's their spawn, but they did pretty much own all this area here at one stage. So to not kick them out of here, but kick them out of here, a little bit harsh, do you not think? Deal. So the main fighting for us has been around Khineland. It's been predominantly Honk, to be honest. So we've been kind of clearing land this way. A lot of people on here. Hello, everyone. So there you go. So, so we've kind of gone over in the last good day or so and helped Honk take the Sea of Rune capital, which is Khineland. DK have kind of come back down this way, and that's where we're going to be. Yeah, Khineland. What's wrong with Khineland? Oh, you were British once. Just live with it. So, train of thought's gone. Thanks for that. So Khineland. So we have now, or Khineland. Would you rather be Khineland or Kindland? So we've kind of helped Honk take that, and we're now kind of clearing, but DK cleared back overnight. We also took Central Mirkwood last night. Hey, Darkness, nice to see you here. We've kind of cleared out Mirkwood a little bit as well. So we've actually done pretty well in the last 24 hours, taking a couple of capitals. But if I just sort of zoom out a little bit, using good old LD player, you see we've cleared around Burzkala, and there's a fair few people here setting up temporary camps, which is fine. I mean, we had a bit of a, argument with temporary camps this morning because people perhaps had put them too close to the front line. And the fact that, the relocation things now, if you actually move and get relocated, are pretty brutal, which I'm going to come on to afterwards. But, it's pretty, this might be a bit bold. See, Khineland, that's what I'm talking about. Thanks very much. So we're going to head over to Khineland, and we're just going to move back towards the front line, because this is what we do. So my thought's currently here. A little bit of a spoiler alert for any DK that have been watching. I have been stopping pathers with pathers all day, and I think they've been pretty much thinking it's my main. So I've managed to kind of keep hold of this small area here. Here is the capital itself, Khineland. I'd say Khineland, definitely so. Yeah, so we kind of took that last night. And then there's quite a bit of fighting doing here. We were all the way up here last night. So DK have pushed back overnight. I'm just going to move somewhere around here to try and get a little bit of PvP in, hopefully. Not that I'm actually supposed to be here, I think. From memory, I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm just going to ignore the fact that I shouldn't be here for a few hours. And I'm going to come sit on the road here by Glove and see where we get to. I have had a couple of fights this morning. I didn't think I was supposed to be there. So I have had a couple of fights this morning. Not many still, to be perfectly honest. I'm also kind of faffing around up here and trying to protect Law's fort that he's left undefended on the wrong side of the crossing. Like, don't know why you'd leave it the wrong side of the crossing, Law, as you're on here. All this space this size, you've just decided to build there. Any particular reason? That's the fun side. Well, it's been a fun side for me in my inherent B team, so we'll probably give it a go. There's some tier 4 in there. I will show you the gear that I'm about to attack with from here. If I could. What? Oh, the area around's completely blocked. Oh, come on. Okay, well, we'll send over there anyway. Basically, what we're using here, although I don't know if I moved the gear back, this is what we're using over here on the B team, because I do only have one real set of gear. Apart from perhaps the shadow gear, to be fair, which is quite good. So we're going to try and go back over here with the blue gear on the B team and try and kill this army. The new sort of Falcon's in the C team still, he is knocking around down here somewhere. He's been protecting Pathers all morning down here. Falcon is in the C team with King of Men, who I don't think has any gear on right now, with Gimli, who has a little bit of gear on, and with Undying, who I don't think has anything but siege gear on. So we've got a bit of siege gear going on the C team. The new rules around not being able to swap outside of fort are a real pain for what I did with my account. Yes, the ingot trading fodder, yes. We can't all have 705 multiply refined gold items, Law. Or Z level Pathers, although admittedly I do have a Z in my C team, but that's not the point. So we're 6 minutes after there. There's a lot of distraction to me. I could use Apptoid really heavily, and I could then potentially have some Z-level Pathers everywhere. So while Gandalf's moving up there, I'll probably just show... We are in Chapter 9. As of tomorrow, this will probably be tomorrow's video, I would guess. I have about 400 Mavens-ish to go into this chest. Oh, who will get the ring? I don't really like to jinx the ring to a degree, but I am going to come out and say it. So I would like to think at this stage in the season we have a very, very good chance of getting hold of the ring. Do I think opponents are going to roll over and die? No, but from the flow of how this map's gone, I do think Mordor will probably get the ring this season. Not to say too much on that subject. But the ring will open up tomorrow morning at 8. Bear and Loth are really strong, yeah, agree. Bear are kind of entertaining Loth are kind of entertaining Bear. We're kind of entertaining... yeah, I did just say Mordor game over. We're kind of entertaining Erebor to a degree and pushing them back, so it will be interesting. The ring opens up tomorrow. We don't have a fort there. I can categorically say that Erebor can't possibly get the ring just for the simple fact that they were the first people to fort there. And everyone knows if you're the first person to fort at the ring, you never win, because that's just the way it works. And the whole jinx. Same as a Toby, Kill, Dobie member, whatever you want it to be, we cannot physically play as Erebor, because every time we play as Erebor, we lose. So we've kind of got rid of that. I completely agree. Erebor is stupidly strong. They are the single team that before this season I feared the most in this game. Yeah, you would think if they could have made an alliance. Loth and Erebor are in an official alliance, so it's quite interesting to see how that's going to work out. I don't really want to go into too much diplo beyond that at this stage, so I'm just going to go back to distracting by talking about this chest. So from the 400-ish Mavens that I'll be opening tomorrow, I'm looking to get as many Reckonings as possible. Backup plan is some Langs, because then I can complete the Lang that I have on Sauron. Looking to get as many of the Protection of Numenor as possible. 1, to finish off the one that I have on Saruman, and 2, to then hopefully switch one over to Gandalf the White, so I can get a little bit more focus. Currently using the Great Plate of the East, which is a little bit less, but because I could refine it more and it looks smaller. Hopefully pick up a couple more Berserkers Raiments. Not too fussed about them. We are season. I'll tell you which season we are literally in a couple of minutes, because otherwise I'll never remember where I was in this list. I'm hoping to have a couple more Jorin plates. Other than that, I'm not really too fussed about chest pieces. I did think I only needed 3 Palantirs from this chest, which is still an only, and it's not likely to happen. I actually need 5, which is kind of semi-disappointed my longing for Palantirs. So one of Drums of Barad-dûr with Might would be nice. That would kind of complete some stuff. Fiddle with Protection would be nice. Hey, Luca. Something like some Rains would also be okay. So I'm kind of okay with that. Then the real game-changing piece, as well as the Reckoning for me, is the Cask of the Submerged Isle, which I'm still gutted that I completely destroyed a full refine one when I started 2.0. So a few of those would be nice, but as a fallback, more High Elf Helms, because I'm currently using that on Sauron to refine, would also be good. Get that command up. And then I really want to start trying Chieftain's Great Gaze on one of my DDs at some point. I haven't yet. So we'll see how that is, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for from that chest. And that many, I'm hoping to get somewhere over the 6.5% on it. And hopefully pick up some Mithril too, because I'm still trying to refine Saruman. So, as for the season, let's go back to there. So the season we are in is, he says, Season 4, 511. And you've probably come on at a good time to ask that question, because my next point I was going to make was going to be the leaderboards. So I will just start with the Fellowship ones. And to be fair, this is actually quite a decent sized server. I know it's been kind of played down because it's the Youths and Aces one's been the one that everyone's kind of talked about for a period of time. But for now, I still think this is a really, really respectable server. And the fact that Bear even wanted to join in at the last minute, it shows how sort of good it was. So Mordor, you've got us, which is Toby and Hunk, and also Dong. Laugh are an interesting few fellowships. So we played against Odin. We know Odin pretty well. It's the old Bank and Atme crew to a degree. A lot of the players in there. So like the Jartaf account and the Not Funk, but really is Funk, or Mr. Funk as he called himself this season, is in there. So we know there's some big accounts in there. So there's Odin. I've never actually played Wind, but I've heard good things about them. So Wind are the kind of second one in there, and then you've got Otter in there as well. You've got some Shady in there, which always adds probably about 1 million affluence if you've got Shady in there just for caps lock and world chat. Although really I kind of feel like Shady should probably join Salt at some stage, but that's a different thing. So you've got Bear and Arnor, which are still sort of in third place, a respectable 3.4. Considering they are not on their own exactly, because you have got Azaghal in there as well, but I presume Shady got muted by the fact that I haven't seen caps locks in world chat for a period of time. Law absolutely adores Shady, by the way, mainly because he copied his formation. So if anyone knows the story behind this, hopefully Law's still listening. Shady came up with what is known as Law Meta. It's currently going through the US courts at the moment. Hopefully Shady will win on the back of that, and that would be quite amusing. Sorry, I'm only joking. Law actually came up with Law Meta himself. I don't want him to betray my tiles and start taking everything. It was obviously Saruman, Dane, Sauron, and Gandalf the White. But Shady claims to have got there first. Law was listening, Marty. You're right, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. So you've got DK who are in fourth. Their sort of production power has dropped slightly, mainly because we've took a lot of land off them. So that's kind of happened. You've still got Angmar have got respectable levels. I mean, there's really respectable levels of affluence, as it's now known on this server. As for commanders, we have been not starved of PvP. That's probably a little bit harsh, but pretty starved of PvP. I agree, Odin are really strong. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think it's interesting that they got pushed early by DK, and I don't know how that factored into their decision, to be honest, about the alliance. But they did get pushed early by him. So, but you've got a lot of bears at the top of the commander rankings, and Raven, of course, is flying around in there as well. In fairness to Odin getting stronger, they have, but sort of the spoiler alert is that obviously we were killed last season, but going back to Toby, we've also grown pretty substantially and tried to keep that under the radar for a couple of seasons, but in particular this season we've inherited some ducks, which have done us a favour really, and some good old people who were probably around my season 2 as well. I can't explain how I'm playing on my PC. So I play through an app called LD Player, which is you just download it off Google. I found it way better than BlueStacks, and it's a lot smoother than BlueStacks, I found. So I would recommend LD Player, Lima Delta Player. We do love Shady. I'm just trying to read back through the chat. Shady's formation is the same as Law Meta, depending on the day, but he does change it every now and again. Shady is a lover of Shire ponies, so he pretty much uses them exclusively. My commander's 11th, level 46, because yes, I've been slacking, so I am genuinely unranked. DK, to be fair to them, tile us to death. So this season, if I was to show you a lot of my reports for this season, a lot of it's going to be, see, I did kill someone. See, the B team with the blue gear got a kill. So, although I don't know where they are, I'd actually forgot they were there. So yes, technically I am slacking, but trying to get fights this season have been a lot harder than it probably has been for a while. I do like the fact that the blue team with blue gear still can take out a few people, which is quite nice. However, we'll just look at the main so that I don't just get smacked. And we'll probably get involved with one of these fights here in a second. We'll try and pick and choose, but these are all purple tiles, which aren't really going to do me any favours. So to say slacking is probably a little bit harsh. I mean, I am 52nd in merit, but I think I was about 9th for a while, and then, not to say too much about this, but the squad that I was in miraculously got told to go and clear lands for a week, rather than actually doing anything constructive that was like fighting. Yeah, but look, your level 45s are basically level 49s. Just because of the gear differential. So don't try and say I'm only level 45. And don't try and say that the world level cap isn't going to help you either, because it will. So your Patha was the Gill formation, which I think it disgusted 3/4 of the fellowship. Cleaning is good for the soul. Yes, it is. I agree. And to be fair, just to show that I do my level of cleaning, right? So if I take on, these are a few fights. I appreciate there is a couple of fights in here and there's a couple of tower reports. But generally, for the last however many days, I've been taking 1 tiles, road tiles, 2 tiles, lots of them with B and C teams. What I've been enjoying is I've been enjoying using my B and C teams to take out Pathas, which is quite nice. But yeah, I'm almost like season 3 me again before I started getting some gold gear and literally killing pathers with bigger pathers. So this is my only strategy to fight in pathers, which I probably shouldn't give away mid-season. But what's basically happened here, it's like the whole scaling effect. So when DK first started the season pathing, because we've been preparing, we've played them before, we prepared for the fact that they path a lot. So we kind of knew that they like to eagle tiles. So once they got the durability of the tile down to 0, they send one eagle in and they try and make you defend the tile with your main, and it just kills your stamina, and then they come around you and etc etc. However, what we did to counteract that was we started sending pathers also to kill the pathers, but we say 200 troops, right? So then once they started sending 200 troops and we were beating them with 300, they started using 400, and then we started using 500, and now they're at 582. So I've just started using about 1500 and then kind of killing pathers that way, and occasionally using the C team. But in effect, it is a different style of warfare to what you will probably see. But this is what the 2.5 update now gives. It gives this kind of different style, and different teams play in different ways. I'm probably going to have to get involved here, I guess, unless someone's there. So I think this guy is pretty strong from memory, but I'll just send over there. It's a purple tile though, so. Do you know what? I kind of wanted to talk about the uproot changes at some stage, and I will probably do that now, I guess, if people want to talk about it. So I haven't personally been uprooted yet this season. I would be interested to hear from people who have been uprooted this season. So from what I've personally heard, I believe you get put into a really small square, which I've seen, and then it can take you sort of 20 minutes to... Oh, I've been absolutely wrecked there, I think. However, we've got around the tile. I blame the half trolls exclusively for that. Oh, tier 2s as well. Do you know something, right? I have to say, I've not been impressed with Rams so far this season. I feel like I'm just going to go back to... I feel like I'm literally just going to go back to Guardians. Because since I've started using Rams, I've definitely not got the same amount of results. But anyway, we'll go to that battle report in a minute. So from what I've heard of these changes, so you have to pay somewhere between sort of 1.5 and 2.5 million resources to get yourself out of this small square state and rebuild your settlement. But the problem is, if it bounces you into a land where someone's already attacking that land, you can't then relocate again, but you have to make your settlement big while you're in the land that's already been attacked. So the likelihood is you're going to get another penalty on top. So I've heard it's like 20 minutes to take a tile. Sort of 2.5 million resources to make yourself big again is ridiculous, and the conscription rate is something like minus 50%. So once you start being uprooted, the kind of effect's quite substantial. Is it 72 hours where it rebuilds your settlement though? Law. I know it rebuilds it automatically after a period of time, but is it 72 hours? Because by that point, people could literally be halfway across the map. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of... Yeah, as soon as you... okay, so I don't know how you got rooted on the event server. You've literally got the best team on there. Yeah, as soon as you start being uprooted, it just seems that it's a little bit too powerful as far as a kind of way it works goes. I hope they address it a little bit, because... Yeah, that's what I mean. Minus 50% PvP damage, minus 70% siege damage. It's kind of just unnecessary. I don't really know why they've made that change. Like, I'm a really big believer in a lot of the changes that they've made lately have been really positive for the game. So I'm kind of disappointed that they've introduced something that's so heavy hitting on players, because once you seem to start getting uprooted as a team, you've got real problems. In this server, the next event, like the newest chest, will come at the end of this chapter, which will be tomorrow. So I'm glad they're focusing on these important changes rather than commander balance. It's more balanced from commanders now than what it's been for a while. Come on, be fair. Law. The best part was my settlement was right next to yours, and they uprooted me and left, didn't touch you. That is an activity problem, my friend. I am well worth leaving there at the moment on that server, sadly. So 2.1 million you can rebuild on not land already owned. Yes, but I think it depends on, isn't it something like 25% of the overall amount of resources it costs you to build the entirety of your buildings or something stupid? Like if I was uprooted now because I've completed all my buildings, I would pay something like 3 point something million, I would guess, because I've completed everything. I really might say that I've completed the game, but that is definitely not the right phrase. And I could definitely do with, by the way, I have stopped building for now at least half trolls, but I have started building Ravagers quite substantially, and I'm quite looking forward to messing around with them. But I am going to probably go back to Guardians. See, it's interesting you say 2.1 million though, Gregor, because some people paid 1.5 and some people I know paid 2.7. So I don't know what the exact is, but I think someone from Bear basically said that it was 25% of the resources they'd worked out, depending on how much your settlement was upgraded. I mean, I'm happy to be wrong. I mean, it happens a lot, to be fair. But yeah, the relocation thing, I'm kind of hoping that after January, and probably not to talk about it too much, but NetEase have obviously had some issues up top over the last few months, so I'm hoping after January they will be a little bit more open to people's feedback on these kind of new features, because I do think that a lot of the new features have actually been genuinely good. Like, I mean, I've got a workshop here. I don't really need to use it anymore, but I do like using workshops. I was kind of hoping to get a little bit more PvP in than the one hit that I've managed to weekly die from. So I'm just going to reinforce and then see where we end up. This, by the way, I'm going to talk through this because I feel like it's an important part of what I do on a battlefield. But I'm just going to do things as I would normally play. So I am going to transport some troops here. So I've just finished, and I'll probably release it later on, kind of the third part of the guide to the new ring. Sort of the last part of it that I'm doing, sort of levels 40 to 70, and sort of the points guide and what I'm going to do with that and things like that. So what I do in an area is, you'll see here I've got 4 forts in this case, and that's because it's a pretty big PvP zone. So instead of building a tactical fort, which I know people like to build, which gives you one central point and it gives you a nice big barracks, it costs you a lot of resources but gives you a nice big barracks in one place, I tend to upgrade 3 forts in an area that I'm fighting minimum. So I've got 4 here, so all those will be fully upgraded forts full of troops. So I've got roughly 48k's worth of troops there. Plus I can bring over all my formations if I want to. I can swap formations in and out to different forts. And my reinforce time from any one of them is about 7 minutes. So even if I die, I can kind of wait a few minutes and then reinforce in one of them. I've got a couple of armies at my base, which is here, and it's about a 15-minute reinforce with sort of 1 troop transportation into the fort. And then you're not going to die from someone trying to snipe your supply lines either. So I think that's a better system than tactical forts. I don't know how other people feel, but tactical forts give you 1 single point, which people tend to aim for, if I'm honest. You know, if you're starting to uproot stuff, you basically see it like a base. Whereas if it's just 3 or 4 forts, if this fort goes down, or if my fort here goes down, I know I haven't got to wait 2.5 hours to kind of get back in the fight, because this will be within the range of the other one. And unless miraculously we've pushed back 50 tiles from where I was, then I don't know. I mean, I could probably get rid of this. What's my march time? Okay, we're going to do a very, very fast gear swap. Law, I can't concentrate on that, sorry, and swap my gear to my C team. So I will come back to that comment shortly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to very quickly, as you can see, I've done this quite a few times. And then I have to try and remember who's actually in my C team. So it's Aragorn who can have... Why not? So this is kind of... I built my account around having 4 decent sets of gear. And then I switch it between them all. It's a lot harder now that people are in fort. Or you can only make these changes in forts, to be honest. Before I could have 2 sort of armies sat on the battlefield. Kind of go from there. But now I can't do that because I can't switch it. So it has kind of penalised the fact that I have pretty much destroyed every other piece of gear. And I don't really know what I'm going to give him. I'll probably give him this. I mean, my Undying's literally respect 1. Why not? Be a wizard, Undying. So my Undying's respect 1, which means all this focus isn't going to do anything for him anyway because I can't get into the heal, but I'm literally just using him for evade. So hopefully I've swapped enough gear to then come here and kill this puffer. Which is the plan, just in time. So let's have a look at lore. So if you're nearing your fort cap, tactical is a good solution. Alternatively, your version is best. Yeah, I agree. I'm proud that you remember to swap your gear. That's not very like me. It is. It's very true. It's not very like me at all to do that with my gear. I normally end up wandering around hitting something without anything on, which is incredibly frustrating. But I've got that down to a T now. I can do it pretty quick. What I will say about see the tactical fort thing as well, it's like the build time that I don't really like. But that's mainly because I can speed up the others. So that's a 773 path for Treebeard, right? So at this stage, I can protect the tile by using, even if someone's actually watching the stream and trying to get through that, I can protect the tile using these. You ain't killing my foreign with your Treebeard Paffer. So it's either run away or die. With your tier 2 elves. Disgusting. Although, to be fair, I don't know if I've actually got any gear on Thorin, but we'll see. So that might be a little bit too smug too early. They seriously need to make a mass equipment switch feature and mass unequipment. This is exhausting. Yes, true. I believe they've taken the first step to trying to do that recently. Whether it works or not is a different thing, but I think they have tried that. Here's Nenya Business. I'll probably take that out next. So we're just going to try and take out some pathers along the way. Agree, and in my opinion, many of the changes are very good improvements. Purple scrolls, road speed, marshals, etc. They can't be perfect. The question is, how do they want feedback? Completely agree on how they want feedback. I don't know how they want feedback at the minute, if I'm being perfectly honest. There we go. See, running away Paffer. They don't seem to... they seem to have an idea for the game at the moment, which I've got no problem with what they're currently trying to do. I just wish they'd kind of take into account some other levels of feedback as well. So that was quite nice. We're also going to trap guard this Paffer here, just for fun, just because we can. And then I'm just going to record. In fact, I'm going to let Falcon take the tile. So I'm just going to come here. I know my Paffer. This is the whole my Paffer's bigger than your Paffer argument. But they're not going to think I'm going to hit it with a Paffer. And there you go. Paffer dead. And this is basically how we're counteracting the pathing mechanics. Also, while doing that, probably picking up the world's smallest amount of merit, I would guess. What's being attacked now? Yeah, I don't want to actually get attacked with half a team. So there you go. See, Paffer mechanics, happy days, dead Paffer, and 475 merit for killing that Paffer. I mean, come on. I literally spent probably a week without getting 475 merit, so I'm pretty happy with that. Again, this is another Paffer, dead Paffer, 822 merit. It all adds up. And then we got rid of this with the C team, which I don't know how I feel about this result, because I do feel like it probably should have done a little bit better, particularly with the protection. But I don't know, can't have it all. But this is what I'm saying about Rams. I don't know what change they've made to Rams, but they are not as good. I mean, realistically, I would think I should win this to probably about 4.55k. So I'll be interested to see what they've done to Rams, but I'm definitely switching the Rams back out. Tell you what, I am keeping though half trolls for now, but yeah, I'm definitely going to switch the Rams out. So we're back to trying to path with Lindor here, but he's about to die to RJ, so we're going to leave that be, I think. And then we're actually going to have a look at that fight where I died, I think, while also heading back to the front. So we're going to have a little walk back over here. In fact, can we probably... How long's this? Right, I'm going to try and hit this army here. And I'm hoping it's going to think that I'm a pather. But we'll see what happens. So, while we're doing that, because we just fought with a couple of pathers, that was like advanced pathing right there. You don't see that in every video. I'm going to look at this tragic loss, which I'm pretty sure I fought this guy not so long ago. Is that the same guy? No, different guy. Okay, that probably makes some sense then. So, I've got absolutely trashed here, considering that I'm using 2 lots of tier 3 cav, also half trolls, which are as cheap as these, and still a medium unit. But his resource trade there is a lot better than mine, and he's literally wiped out 3 of my commanders. So let's have a look what he's packing. This is why I want my Reckoning and why I want my Cask of Submerged Isles, because otherwise that's fairly similar, apart from the Z6 part of this equation, to my Sauron. Just to compare, my Sauron's using the Lang and I'm using the High Elf Helm, so I have a lot less command, I would hazard a guess. I also have 3 commander defense rolls. Well done me on upgrading the Smith's Gift. So his command's 585. What was mine? 560 something. I mean, it's not even a lot more command, but he's got a lot more unit defense than me in these 2 pieces, and he's got a lot more points to play with in here, which is frustrating. What has he then hit me with? It's his Bjorn that's done me the world of hurt, really. So round 4 will be the round where we've lost this fight. He has a Z2 Gandalf the White, which is similar to mine, but he will have gotten in his White Council earlier than me because he is using agility. So my White Council is going to have been affected, I would assume, by his Sauron, as I haven't got any agility on here. So what's mine? 35. Though he's using trolls. No, my White Council shouldn't have been affected by Sauron, actually. So that's probably one good thing. He's got a pretty nice Z1 Bjorn. And he's also got a very nice Saruman, who acts a lot faster than mine. So his focus 268. I would argue that I've been pretty hard done by in that fight, and I reckon if you play through that fight 2 or 3 times, I probably come out on top a couple of those fights. So, looking at... there you go. Right, okay. So, there's a clear issue here that Dane's been slapping himself and his own army while also being stunned. So, yeah, different fight. We'll probably come out on top quite substantially in that. The age of the head of White Council has begun. Yep. 100% agree. Saruman's a great commander. The only thing I will say that I find is a problem with Saruman is he occasionally comes out really sporadically with like 35k, which is baffling to me. But there you go. As you can see, I lost this fight pretty substantially and heavily in round 4, which is where you get your most Bjorn damage. So, where are we, Bjorn? Skin change effect. So, I'm guessing he's probably maddened someone at the same time. I mean, he hits sickeningly hard anyway. It is a Z1 Bjorn, let's be honest. So, yeah, he got Dane with madness. He got Saruman with madness. So I would assume round 4, my Saruman's probably likely to have pewed myself. Head of the White Council, madness, couldn't differentiate. So I slapped myself with madness there, slapped myself with madness there, slapped myself with madness there. Dane's decided to wail on me as well. Voice of Saruman's decided to kill me off. So there's clear problems as to why I've been mullered in that round. But that is the benefit of Bjorn when it works. When Bjorn works, fantastic commander. The only thing I kind of half dislike about him is if someone maddens your Bjorn first and he slaps himself, which is why my Bjorn got relegated to the B team. But if I'm being really honest, Saruman could probably get himself to that level also, currently. What's here? Because we've just took on a fight, and I'm currently occupying. Is this that Paffer again? Ugh. Why are Paffers constantly here? Hang on. Let me just try and, again, see if I can get to this Paffer just in time. There we go. And then we'll look at that fight. People invested in Gandalf's too much since they've been dominant for so long, and they love him. White Council will be around for a very long time. White Council will be around for a very long time. I still think you can survive without White Council if you've got a full evil formation, but I can't answer that question, Hardy, Ali. I believe they're looking into it. There'll be a few different things because there's some stuff. I know they're trying to look at something that I'm not even answering you about you can survive without White Council without Elves Law, but great sideline into getting the Elves in there. They are looking into different ways of doing stuff, so you can see what your troop damage buffer, for example, is given to another formation. It's a bit more technical than probably just the stuff that they've already put out. But I agree. I accept the fact that Gil-galad is also a good use of trying to avoid some damage. But then so's Undying, and I don't really like either of them. I'd rather just get slapped in the face, but have enough command to actually take the hit. And this is another path of running off. I would assume this is another path of running in. Basically, the entire game here is to just keep stopping people from being able to path through this area. So this is 2-3-1. So again, we'll just send the path around. Hopefully it doesn't try and march through the army, which is always good. And I'm assuming here he's going to try and hit me with this, with his 30 seconds left. So I probably need to look at what's actually... Oh, no, we've run. Okay, fair enough. So there you go. So another path of running off. I'm just going to stop Thorin there. And hopefully he'll go back into it again. Morning, fellow. Hope you're well. Hope the server's going well. I hope you've slept a little bit after farming. Where are you in those power rankings, fellow? I want to know. So we've just killed June, who, again, this is my problem at the moment with Rams. Rams just don't seem to be cutting it for me at the minute. And I've actually just remembered why. Because, see, Law, I don't swap my gear all the time. I thought that army looked a little bit like squishy for my normal take. But basically, Saruman is the only person here who's actually got some decent gear on. So, there you go. Apparently, we can still just about win fights with Saruman. So, yeah, I don't always change my gear. I don't know. Like, Rams last season were really good, but this season, I don't feel they're as good. My only point on that is, this is that same Paffer again, by the way, so I'm just going to move on there. I kind of need to change my gear back. Is point one, because I don't really want to be taking more fights with no gear on Dane. Thank God for Saruman. And those half trolls. Bless those half trolls. Yeah, I've seen Yudes are pretty substantially out in front. I was trying to compare... Yeah, thanks for pretending to be surprised. Yeah, pretty substantial difference between what we sort of got through our affluence ranking and what Yudes have got through there. So it was quite interesting to see that. And I'll continue the path of wars. So I'm gonna reinforce again from this fort here, and then I'm gonna transport again. Although I don't know what I've got left in the tank here, really. I probably need to start clearing out my other forts. I've probably got troops at the minute in about 9 different forts, which isn't exactly ideal when I'm trying to fight on one front, I guess. I'm going to switch my gear back as well. So, let's go back to Dane. I did make a small change to Dane this season. And that was that I went for the full Perseverance set and switched my drums to him. So I took a little bit of attack off him. to sort of that secondary set that sits on my shadow normally. So, and I found it's been okay so far. I do feel like I've increased my damage a little bit, particularly with a lot of the decent fights going to round 7, 8, 9, 10. So just switch all the stuff back. It's like a methodical cleaning method. I'm genuinely pleased, by the way, that I didn't get completely wiped with no gear on. Yeah, you can see my forts overview. Hang on. I don't mind people knowing where I've forted. Long times do I tend to give away where my pins are on the map and things like that. So I think everyone on the main's got gear back on, which is happy. If I just zoom out or see where this is, I'm presuming someone's deciding. It's like we're just going to keep playing the same game. So Treebird is about to get attacked by Thorin again. And we'll continue to play the my tile is bigger than your tile game. So I'm going to try and zoom out, he says. But it's not seemingly wanting to zoom out. There we go. So actually, I probably didn't need to zoom out. That was a really stupid way of trying to do that. I'm going to zoom back in. So my forts are here. There's a lot of pins here, 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 and here. Probably giving away too much information there. But yeah. That's kind of where my forts currently are. I haven't got much in central regions. If I need to, I'll just take one down and pull one back. But I tend to keep them in clusters of where I'm fighting. And I'm definitely going to get shouted at for those pins being on there at some stage. But hey, I can't do much about it when it's live. There we go. We finally killed off the Treebeard Paffer with our slightly bigger Paffer. And picked up our super good 475. 475 more merit. So troop distribution with free thought strategy. So what I do is I look at what I need, which tends to be in here, whatever's in my main. So I tend to run this, but at some stage or another, I'm going to switch out probably onto Gandalf Ravagers into here. So I've got some Ravagers in the fort as well. This is just refilling. And then I'll have the same combination in the fort behind as well. So if I come to here, into my aptly named Rune You Fools fort, I've kind of got a similar combination in here. I just haven't got any rams in there. And in the other one, I'll have more rams than that. And that's kind of how I do it. So my reinforce time for me is about 4 minutes. So if a commander dies, I can just kind of redo it. Try and look at this border. This is going to be the same path. This is kind of the problem. You have to sit here. This is how DK wear teams down. They literally tile them to death. And it's really respectable, but it's just disgusting to play against. Particularly when you've got some lazy whales who sit in, well, probably even blubbery krakens, who tend to sit in chat rather than perhaps cleaning, if he's still sat there. So we've got another Paffer here. We're going to use it. Oh, Yem is too far. Okay, we'll use a half full Falcon to get rid of that one. And then I'm just going to drag Eomer over here so he can defend this side. And then we're going to try and get Gandalf in one more fight. And then I'm probably going to declare the stream fairly closed. Is this Paffer again? Oh, this is DK himself. So this is basically death for me. Oh, DK's only paffing. Okay, well, we'll just take the hit and see what happens. So we got wrecked by DK's paffer, but it has made him run off, so I'm okay with that. But the thing is, DK kind of paths with stuff that I've probably traded in. So that was probably a very foolish guard of mine, to be fair, but fun all the same. So we've got Falcon going over here. I could probably do someone get into this tile here, but we're not going to do that now. Oh, this Honk guy's going to do that. That's good. We're going to try and get in probably one more fight before I decide to declare myself closed and start doing some other stuff for the day. I'm going to try and get back on again tomorrow so I can do that Mavum opening. This is still pretty intense over here. I'm just going to move to probably here for now. By Angry Golem. I think I said it wrong. What I meant is your forts over where you can see all your towers to see how many forts of troop station. Oh, right. Okay, this one here. Yeah, so there you go. So I've currently got troops pretty much in many different areas. If anyone's wondering why there's some Harry Potter forts in here, that's because I am currently in Team Slytherin, which I don't know why we decided to name them as houses from Harry Potter, but yeah, I'm in Slytherin. So partly because apparently all the people in Slytherin were horrible people, and I'm one of them. So yeah, so I've kind of got forts all around there, but there's 6, 7 in there that I've actually got troops in. You are in Slytherin, Law. Yeah, I don't know how you got into Slytherin because you're probably too nice for that. I got told all the troublemakers got thrown into Slytherin. You are a parcel tongue, yeah, it's true. You're probably actually classed as one of those people who remain nameless, I suppose. So, it looks like the current pushing type area is going to be from this side. This guy is quite a good player. Yeah, Law who should not be named. This guy here, I don't know if anyone from Erebor is watching, or anyone from the server really in general. If you get to fight this guy, this is pretty much where I learn the entirety of what I do now to counter pathing from. He is one of, if not in my opinion, probably in the top 5 players in this game. His formation isn't like completely whaled, but he uses 3 supports, 1 DD and Dane. Hasn't got all gold equipment, but he hits really hard because he's got gold equipment in the right places and the stats and the purples. But the way he paths and the way he kills pathers and the way he does everything well in the game, you could learn so much from someone like him. I'm just saying, he's pretty impressive. I'm presuming something of mine has died. Oh, DK, I'm talking, man. Brutal, DK. Absolutely brutal. I'm off to kill a Pather. And then... Oh, I mean, in fairness, I'd like to take this fight if possible, because I know he trashes me a lot of the time. And I did give Law a lot of grief for the fact that he drawed, and then or drew, I suppose, is probably the right term, before I get pulled up. Yeah, so I did take the fight with DK after Law had drew with him, and I got absolutely slapped, so I kind of had to be quiet after that. But that is a great use of my Rams, which I wouldn't normally do. That's a don't try it at home. DK is definitely 2-0 up currently in what's caring. I know he does occasionally watch, so DK, if you are watching, thanks for showing the what not to do video, which we've just come up with. And if you'd like to stand still and kill me, I'm very happy to come back and die to you in 2 minutes' time. In fact, I tell you what, that can be the last fight of this stream, is that I'm going to try and kill DK, which I won't do, but if I can get him down to about 2k health, I'd feel like I'm doing okay. So, I can't get there in time. 3 minutes 57. As soon as the towel finishes, I will march towards him. So it's basically 6 minutes left in the stream. Thanks, Liv. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. But DK, don't disappear from there now after sniping me twice. That'd be really nasty. What I will say is, DK in general, as in the Erebor faction, are a great bunch of people, but DK himself is actually a really, really nice guy. Ara, don't die. I am not advising you take this fight when he trap guards you in less than a minute. I'm just saying that's going to happen. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I sort of wanted to know if anyone had any thoughts on the sort of farming guide type things, because I know it's been talked about a little bit in the community in the last few days. But like I say, I was going to try and do it based around skills or based around what you should look for, or round 1 damage as opposed to round 3 damage, and kind of making sure you've got, if you've only got one piece of equipment, what is it, that kind of stuff. But we'll see. So if anyone has any thoughts on that, let me know. And in the meantime, I mean, I should do okay versus DK, mainly because I'm using mediums. As I'm probably quite renowned for, I am a pretty good farmer, particularly early game, so I would quite like to do the guide. But my problem is I don't want to do the guide too well, because I quite like being near the top of leaderboards at the start of the season. So if I do it too well, everyone's going to be there, and that's really annoying. So, little shout out to Farmer Cletus as well, who we have a little bit of a rule in the Fellowship, which is if you take a level 10 or 11 or 12 tile, you clear the tiles around it. With what Cletus has took in the last 2 or 3 days, I would estimate that if he finishes cleaning before the end of the season, he's done really well. But I believe he tried to claim that he didn't speak English yesterday, which is completely not true. As always, Mavius has took back over Raven. I was going to compare this the other day, and I might as well do it while I wait for that tile to finish. So they've got nearly 135-ish. Let's see if they're better than any fellowships between them. Yeah, they are. So if Mavius and Raven... if Mavius and Raven were a fellowship together, they would be 27th in the server. Yeah, exactly. He definitely either made something up there, or he's only learnt certain phrases. It's like people who go to Spain and only learn like dos cerveza, por favor, that kind of stuff. So it may be a similar situation. You say I'll be fine, but I've already done this fight once. In fact, twice. I am 1-1 on my main fight so far with DK, so this is going to probably be something that, unfortunately for me, closes down where I'm at with it and probably puts me back on the back foot. So I'm going to reinforce this path from the base. I only have 300 Guardians left. I'm going to start making Guardians again, I think, today. I miss Guardians in general. Yeah, he's pretty strong. I mean, before we hit, I'll kind of go through it. So, and he's not full, so even if I do win, I can't really claim it, to be honest. We're talking Z5, Sauron. Yeah, it is all about the CC procs, I agree, but like, you know, he builds more focus than I build focus, so that's, I don't know, what's his debuff? Probably C from the tile. I do need to do a video at some point as well about reading battle reports, because I feel like some people still don't necessarily know how to do that. So, what is his Sauron? He's 15.5%. So he's at 20.5% reduction from the enemy. Mine's probably nowhere near that, I would think. I need to remember, do I actually have gear on for this fight? I think I do. Because that would be really ironic. As I didn't have gear on for here, so this is a pointless fight to check with my siege gear. I think I did have gear on here. So let's see what my reduction is. This is killing 4 minutes of walking time here. So where is my Sauron? 17.5. So he's going to get a 3% extra reduction on me, and his will happen first. So, going back to his formation then, rather than talking about mine. He's gone! DK man, what are you doing? Oh well, we'll just change tower when we're there. So, I did say he was definitely going to get you. He's only at 6169 now, so I feel like attacking half well, not armies, 3/4 armies like that, I'm just gonna get trashed, but we're gonna give it a go. He out levels me. He's got a better Dane than me. That hurts me to say, by the way, but he's actually got a better Dane than me, and he has a really disgusting Bjorn. So round 4 is not going to be my friend either way up. And he has a very focused build. Although I'm confused here by the Black Mace, I can only assume it's for the command and a little bit of focus, which I suppose works. He's got 2-1-2 focus. I mean, it's a pretty disgusting formation, whether we think it's old meta or new meta, whichever it might be, but it's pretty... I am running a very slow Sauron, and I am definitely crossing my fingers, yeah. So I'm just going to waste some more stamina, just for the sake of this science, as I'm going to call it. And I'm just going to go like that. And pray that I've hit the right formation. I should have hit his B team. That would have been the really douchey thing to do. We're about to see how trashed it gets. So we've got about 20 seconds left. Then I'm going to call it a day and come back and kill his B team in disgust afterwards, because that's just the way to go. Yeah, I'm likely to just focus on the B team after this, because I just know I'm going to die, so that's fine. I'm hoping a decent draw would be nice. We've got the draw element. Oh, round 4, crippling. I mean, in fairness, I will take that. He's not full, though. So if he's full, I reckon that's a pretty even draw, and my troops are way more expensive. But as far as a couple of levels, I will take that as a result. And as a point that I am... Well, you could probably get the fights yourself. Where are you on the map, by the way, right about now? Are you actually where you should be, following pins? Yeah, well, you are, to be fair, a good soldier, but clearing tiles, come on now. I'm not believing that. All day, every day. You need to get yourself... I mean, realistically, this is just... I'm not saying this is the best thing for you to do, Law, but you could get away with this. You have that many decent commanders that you could probably send your B and C team to Khineland. No one would ever know. Yeah, it is definitely unsanctioned advice, but you could send B, C, and D team to Khineland, get a load of PvP, and just leave your main there, and then take tiles with, like, E, F, G, and you'd be fine. So that's just, you know, my small amount of advice. So on that note, I'm probably going to call it a day. And the last thing I've done is probably tell you something that you probably shouldn't do. But look, Khineland's being pushed here. So, you know, Khineland needs some help. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, on that note, I'm probably going to call it a day. So I'm going to do either a video or a live. I don't know which one it'll be yet tomorrow on opening those Mavens and see where I'm at. Right. Have you got... I'm just going to... Before I go away, I'm just going to probably do something that... Have you got 4 Fell Beasts, Law? You must have. You've always got Fell Beasts. Yeah, just go to Mordor, Law. Just fly to Mordor. There you go. Right, okay, you've got 2k Fell Beasts. So fly to Mordor. Reinforce... Not Mordor. Fly to Khineland. Reinforce your fort from transportation. Fly your troops down, switch them over. You could be in Khineland protecting my fort in less than 40 minutes. Rather than marching. Perfect. Gotta use the fly down tactic. I know, I'm just using it as an example that, you know, you could be here in less than 35 minutes. You won't get the wrath. You can do what you like. I appreciate this is recorded, but yeah, you'll be fine. Okay. Well, that's kind of where I'm at then. But get yourself down to Khineland and defend these borders. Look, this is definitely pushing down from here now. I don't know where we're at over here. But to be fair to DK and the Kingdom, they do keep coming at you. I mean, like I say, this is literally constant warfare. I'll just have a very quick look at this fight just to see. But from a resource trade point of view, even with the cheap half trolls, he's definitely beat me in this fight. But I mean, I must have killed Dane off early, but you know, he killed my Saruman off early. 184k from Dane. Fair play to the man. And then 158. I would imagine round 4 was not my friend. Oof. I mean, that's actually pretty even for round 4. I'll take that. Saruman's obviously done some work in that round before death. And that's that. So Khineland is the kind of place where the fellow members of your race live, yes. Hence your kin. Not to be confused with Kindland, which is definitely not somewhere where you are. And on that note, yes, evil men, yeah. I'm calling it a day. Enjoy yourself. If in doubt, always follow your nose.